Invisible Kamala Harris struggles to seduce Europe. And this I've translated from a French article. Brussels, which is the head, the Parliament of the European Union, as we know. Joe Biden's withdrawal from the race for the White House has posed a new urgent question for European policymakers. What would a Harris presidency look like? The Vice President of the United States is now the favorite to become the Democratic candidate who will face Donald Trump in the November elections. Speaking candidly, moderate politicians and European officials suggested that she had not yet succeeded in convincing them that she could win. Isabel Schnabel, a member of the board of directors of the European Central Bank, was caught in the act earlier this year, criticizing the vice president on the open microphone, calling her invisible, quote unquote, and predicting that she would never win. The Democratic Party selection process is a failure, said Schnabel, whose remarks are being reported for the first time. They should have put up a candidate other than Kamala Harris from the beginning, the central banker said in a private conversation before an event in February, apparently unaware that her remarks were being broadcast live. She would never win an election. It's hopeless, she said. The following comment from Isabel Schnabel was particularly cutting. She says, I don't even know her. She has been so invisible. The European Central Bank on Monday called the quotes misleading, saying that Isabel Schnabel never comments in public on political events. Unconvincing public interventions, privately within an open mic this time, others familiar with Kamala Harris' style of diplomacy criticized her speeches, recalling her tendency to read prepared text unnaturally. Two senior people who met with the American at the Munich Security Conference earlier this year told Politico that she split-screened a person at the event. His public interventions were very scripted. Her public interventions were very scripted, speeches delivered using a teleprompter with little spontaneity. The one in 2023 at the same conference perceived a particularly cold reception. The applause was not there, and she failed to establish a connection with the audience. Another example is her disconcerting appearance at the British Artificial Intelligence Summit in 2023. Kamala Harris took the stage late to presidential music and gave a speech described to Politico as banal by a participant who pointed out the flaws in the event's key theme. The British government, then led by Rishi Sunak, presented the vice president's participation positively, but privately resented having the spotlight stolen from its own event and informed White House officials. Europeans don't know it well, but her meetings outside the agenda show a more engaged and charismatic side, according to two senior sources. When she meets with European politicians or participates in meetings on the Three Seas initiative, a U.S. policy that seeks to establish links between the Baltic, Adriatic, and Black Seas. One source pointed out that Brussels had been overconfident about the strength of the European Union's relationship with the United States during the Biden years. After the upheaval caused by Trump, transatlantic ties strengthened in the months following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, when Washington and Brussels worked hand in hand to repel Vladimir Putin. However, with Joe Biden's team very involved, European officials have not really sought to get closer to Kamala Harris. There is this idea that the European Union should have made more of an effort to cultivate relations with Harris, even given Biden's age, said a senior European source, like others who spoke under covered by anonymity to discuss sensitive subjects. But on the other hand, she did not really make it easy. It wasn't easy to find opportunities to meet Harris, they said. In Great Britain, too, we are trying to pin her down, hoping that the choice of her running mate will shed light on what she would do if elected. There will be a lot of work to define what Kamala's presidency will look like and what she thinks and feels about the issues and how we deal with her and the people around her, said a British official. I think we really need to see this vice president, her vice president, and then we can evaluate the entire ticket and get to each piece of the ticket. The president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who has just been re-elected for a 5-year term, had only one bilateral meeting with the American vice president on the sideline of the Munich Security Conference in 2022, although the two women met at the opportunity for other international events. Now, can Kamala Harris beat Trump? In public, European politicians are trying to remain positive. I wish Kamala Harris the best. She's a woman, a strong woman. I wish her the best. Belgian Foreign Ministry Hadja Laibib told reporters before a meeting with her European counterparts in Brussels Monday. I saw Vice President Harris at each of her appearances at the Munich Security Conference and found her to be a very charismatic, intelligent, and humorous woman, clearly committed to her transatlantic beliefs, said Roderick Kieswetter, a Christian Democrat parliamentarian on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Berlin. They don't say it out loud, but the key question for many EU members is not what a Harris presidency would look like, but whether she can beat Trump. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis paid tribute to President Biden in an interview with Politico on Monday. He declined to comment on the likely nomination of Kamala Harris because the process is still ongoing. Assuming she is nominated, I think it would be inappropriate for us Europeans to interfere with the American election, he said, adding, but it is certainly appropriate for us to prepare for all eventualities. Jacopo Barigazzi, Barbara Moens, Clee Kulkut, Lara Kayali, Ned Nostinger, Vincent Manacor, and Eugene Daniels contributed to the article. This was first published in Politico, and it's on DNYUZ. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.